All right, greetings, everyone. Welcome to Healing Me First, Stories of Breakthroughs, Transformation, and Healing. I'm your host, Chef Bee, and we have the amazing Kimani Norrington-Sands, my Spelman sister, my
Yeah.
Hello Seven sister, cadet, like just all the things. Welcome, Kimani. How are
Thank
you?
you. Thank you, my Spelman Sister, certified Hello Seven coach.
Okay, Hello Seven coach. I see you. I see you. Y'all, I'm so excited to talk to Kimani because, as you can see, like, I don't know if you're really looking at what's going on out there, outside, as we like to say. There's a shift happening. There's a shift happening. And the shift is with Black women, and the shift is in how they're showing up for themselves as it relates to work
Mhm,
and value and where they want to be and just the kinds of things that they want to do,
mhm,
and leaving the jobs that haven't served them well.
mhm,
And Kimani, that is right in alignment with what Kimani does. Kimani, we're going to get into it. Kimani, please share with the folks, the viewers
mhm.
and the listeners, just a little bit about you, your background, all the things.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Dr. Kimani Norrington-Sands. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist in California. I'm originally from Chicago, and I am a super proud Spelman alum. And my focus is on really on helping Black women liberate from toxic jobs. I'm a toxic job survivor, and through my own healing journey, I've become a toxic job liberator for Black women. And so I have a YouTube channel focuses on that, lifting us reclaim consulting wellness services. And I'm also co-hosting a job liberation virtual summit for Black women, May 18th and 19th, to teach Black women about ways that you can leave a toxic job, replace your income, and do well. I want us to know we have options.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is so amazing. So actually tell us a little bit about, your journey. You're
Mm-hmm.
a licensed clinical psychologist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the work for liberating Black women, is this a personal journey for you? You want to share a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about where you're coming from, what you've done?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So it's very much influenced and impacted by my own experience as a toxic job survivor. So for a number of years, I think for 13 years, I used to work for the second largest school district in the nation as a clinical psychologist. And initially it was great. I had two Black women supervisors who were fabulous. I loved it. It was great. And then they retired. And I knew that the system was toxic, but they were my buffer. So I was always kind of protected. But then when they retired, a lot of very bad things happened to me. And I could just kind of crystallize or just summarize it in terms of what my experience was going from pet to threat. So pet to threat, three Black women researchers came up with the term pet to threat. So I want to call their names as Black women. We need to give honor to our Black women because people steal their work too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps came up with Pet to Threat. So Pet to Threat deals with when a Black woman comes into the workplace, she's sought out because of her outstanding work abilities. She's doing well. They love her. Oh my God, Dr. Natasha is so smart. We love her. Oh my gosh, she's great. She's the pet. And then Dr. Natasha starts outshining other people. And there's a shift in terms of how she's seen and treated like the threat. That is what happened to me. And so all the details about what happened. It was so many different things, but it was a shift between the pet to threat. And what happened was when I set boundaries about certain things that happened in the workplace, I was demoted all the way to my entry level position. Even though I've been promoted before, got positive job evaluations, put in leadership positions, I was demoted as a way to put me in my place. And it was humiliating, it was confusing, it was all these things. And it got to a certain point where I tried to push through, I tried to fight them, I tried to say, it's not bothering me, but it was taking a significant toll on me physically and psychologically. I took a leave of absence. And while I was on that leave of absence, I knew there was a no, I knew that I was lying to myself because I was in therapy too with a Black woman. And she was like, girl, you got to get out of there. This place is going to kill you. You need to get out, right? And God is promoting you to be doing something at a much higher level. So I took a leave of absence. And while I was on a leave, I started working with a Black woman coach. I started working with a Black woman financial psychologist to get my money together because the money was the issue that was really keeping me there. And once I got my plan together, started replacing my income, I was out of there. And as I was on this journey, the healing journey, I started talking about my experiences with other people, but then I joined Stephanie Perry's YouTube challenge. And
Tiffany
Stephanie,
Perry.
yeah, Stephanie Perry. So when I was in the YouTube challenge, she was asking, well, what topic do you guys want to talk about? So when she got to me, I said, I think I want to do a YouTube channel talking about Black women in toxic jobs. She said, girl, do it immediately, right? And I started doing it when I was on the lead, and it was mostly to talk about this is what I was going through, right? I was trying to get out of my system because I knew the job, not only what they were doing to me and what they did, they were trying to humiliate me and silence me. And as a Spelman woman, I was like, no, 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 no. You're not going to do this. I know my worth. This is not going to happen like this. So I started talking about my own experiences on YouTube. Then I started interviewing more Black women, and then Black women from around the world start reaching out to me. Oh my God, that's my experience. I'm having the same thing. Can you help me? Can you help me? So then that's how it transitioned to that is really my life's work right now, is to
Yeah.
help liberate Black women. So this year, we are on a mission to liberate 500 Black women from toxic jobs through their registration and coming to the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women. And we know that, a lot of us are very scared about being seen or people knowing we're at something like this.
Yeah.
So none of the participants will be seen on camera, names will not be listed. They can change their name in the platform if needed. So I don't want that to keep people from participating in the summit. So we have 11 outstanding Black women, starting with Stephanie Perry to kick it off. So many Black women talking about how to replace your income.
Yeah.
And we have all Black women sponsors, such as you, who,
Right.
who are
I had
sponsoring
to
the
support.
summit.
I had to support my girl and this
Yes,
mission. You
so
know,
excited.
let me say this, Kimani, thank you so much for doing this work because I think when things are happening to us,
Hmm.
we're not aware, like we don't have the words. When you're
Hmm.
in it, you don't really have the words to articulate what's happening. You know something's happening to you, you know something's
Hmm.
going down,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you're like, is it just me?
Right.
Is me? Like,
Yes.
what's going on here? And I
Yes.
think about my experience in the academic environment. I mean that this was supposed to be my dream job, and for many years it really was.
Hmm.
But what I started to realize was that it's not a space where I feel like I can grow and fully be myself. And not only that, like, just if you think about just in terms of your growth as a professional, I really think that, you want to be in spaces where you don't feel anxiety around the things that you are teaching or having to deliver to your customers, your clients, whomever. And,
Hmm.
I just had to reflect later on. It was like, wait a minute, there's this anxiety and stress that was coming up for me because a lot of the things that I had to deliver to the customer, which is the student, I didn't really feel comfortable giving them that information because I didn't understand it fully myself. I can honestly say that, like, just stepping back from that world,
Hmm.
just having to be on all the time and it has to be a certain way. Just, and I know that there's so many other women who are feeling like that, the pressure of performing to
Hmm.
show your worth in these
Hmm.
spaces. You're smart, but
Hmm.
you're like, why are these people making more money than me? Why are they getting these opportunities and I'm not? So then it
Hmm.
makes you question yourself. Like, maybe I'm not as smart as I think
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not, or even if you get an evaluation, well, you could do this better. You know that you were just hitting it
Hmm.
the year prior, the evaluation year. So it's like, is this me? Is something
So
happening?
much, well, see, that's gaslighting. That's what gaslighting is. So
Mm,
gaslighting makes you think there's something wrong with you. And then the disturbing part about gaslighting is that you start self-gaslighting yourself. Maybe it is me. Maybe I
yeah,
do need to do something different. What is it? I thought I was smart. Maybe on all that questioning It's not healthy. And then the other part that I think a lot of us experience is this only me? Like, and a sense of shame too. If
Yeah.
this is only me, why is this happening to me? So that's why I'm so vocal about these experiences because I don't want Black women to feel like we're alone. I don't want you to feel like you're a victim. You have options, even though it might feel like you're a victim. You're not a victim, and that you have agency. There's options available for you. Utilize those resources, please.
Yes. So in the flow of this podcast, which is healing me first,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
what do you feel like was the thing that you needed to do first for yourself to really just give yourself permission to move forward and really release the job? You
Yeah.
know, what were you going through emotionally? Like what was that process for you?
Oh, okay. So let me talk about the physical and psychological symptoms I was having at the job. Okay. So I started gaining a lot of weight. My blood pressure was going up. My hair started falling out. I started having really bad nosebleeds. Never had nosebleeds ever in my life. Um, a lot of sadness, profound sadness, anxiety, dread waking up. Um, and it just became that the job issues became consuming. So that's all I talked about with family and friends and all that kind of stuff, right? So even though people around me, close to me, said, "Girl, like you need to leave this job. Like this is not a good place for you," right? My close, my family, my close friends, my therapist, all telling me these things. But I was still stuck on I got this. They're not gonna run me out of here. I'm gonna fight these people,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Um,
I'm getting
you
chills
know,
because I'm like, they say that.
I'm
Yes,
not I'm not weak. I'm not a
right.
punk. You know what I'm saying? I got this, right? Or because I used to work for a school district, I am committed to these Black students and I'm gonna stay here and fight for these Black students, right? So all those things happened, but I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I took a leave of absence because I knew I was like, I can't stay here. Like, I need a break. I need a break, right? But when I was on that leave of absence, it's a number of things. When you're able to get away from that environment and you're able to see how toxic it is, you're like, whoa, that was the first thing. The second thing is my youngest son asked me, he said, Mom, are you going to go back to that job? And I said, I don't know. I'm trying to figure things out. He said, Mom, please don't go back. Please don't go back, right? So that was another thing. But the ultimate thing that happened that really got me was I was in the shower. I heard the voice of God say to me, if you go back to that job, it's a death sentence. Because I'd seen Black women at that job dying, and they weren't
Dying.
that much older than
Yes.
me. They were dying, they were developing cancer, having heart attacks, strokes, right? And they weren't that much older than me. So that was like and when I heard that voice, like I heard that crystal clear. When I heard that voice, I got out the shower, got dressed, and I resigned immediately,
Mm,
right? And I said, I'm resigning effective immediately because of the trauma that I'm experiencing due to this job. It's
mm,
impacting my physical and my mental health,
mm,
right? So
mhm.
it had to get to that point, right? All those people telling me things, I'm having all these signs and symptoms. But lying to myself, like, oh, I got this, I got this. No, I did not, because the game was rigged against me. It was a toxic system. It was no way that I could have won. Because by that point, there were so many people in that environment who were conspiring against me to attack me and take me down. I couldn't have won anyway. And the longer I stayed, the
Yeah.
more I was getting hurt.
Yes. Let me ask you a question. Now that you're out of that space and you're really doing
Mhm,
your life's work and
mhm.
you're not working now. You're not, this is your ministry, you know?
Yes. Oh, yes, my
You're not,
ministry. Yes.
you're not working now. You left your job. You left work. You left that.
Yes. I
You
love the
ministry now.
plantation.
Right.
Yes.
What can you tell me is, from the physical standpoint, the things that
Mhm.
were happening that started to present themselves? Have any of those things kind of vanished? Because sometimes that happens. A lot of times that happens. Can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit
yeah,
about that?
yeah. All the physical symptoms I've had have basically resolved. I'm still working on my weight, right? That's in process, but it's getting better, right? But my blood pressure stabilized. Um, I don't feel like my hair has grown back. I've done videos about that. I wear braids now, but my hair has grown back. No more nosebleeds since I've left. Um, all of the physical symptoms I've had resolved, right? I never, and then psychologically, I never wake up, not one day, dreading waking up.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
one day. Not
Yes.
one day.
Yes.
I'm
'Cause, you know,
excited to get up.
that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Wow, I'm so happy that you had the courage to do what it is that you did. And, for those of you who are listening or viewing this, there's an opportunity for you. Please look around you and
Mhm,
see that people are taking risks and they're betting on themselves and they're
mhm,
listening to those quiet voices internally that
mhm,
are like,
mhm,
this is not for you. You're hurting yourself. It's
mhm,
time to shift. It's time to do
mhm,
something else.
mhm. And sometimes you have to silence the voices of other people around you who might be telling you to stay in a
Yeah.
toxic job because it's a good job with good benefits.
Mhm.
But you have to think about for yourself, if you're being harmed, there's nothing good about a job that's harming you, right? And if you're accessing your healthcare benefits because a job is making you sick, you have to reevaluate, is this a good job? So there might be times that there's people around you who care about you, but they're telling you to stay in a toxic job because they are projecting their fears onto you. And you have to say, I can't. So maybe don't share that information with them about your plans to leave and spend time or talk to people who are pouring into you, who are supporting you getting healthy and are supporting your healing. Focus on those people. And I want to quote Lamazzini, who says, check the tree before you pick the fruit. So
Mm.
if the people you're talking to are not happy in their jobs, they've never been happy, they're not happy in in their lives, don't seek advice from them.
Yeah.
So be
But
mindful, use some discernment.
I'll say this too, Kimani. I think that, particularly like in the academic and the corporate space, the thing
Mhm.
that you might be experiencing may not necessarily be the thing that the other person's experiencing.
Mm.
And if they have experienced it, you don't know how they've masked that trauma. So,
Oh,
because we've had conversations with a friend recently about just convincing yourself,
oh
oh,
yes,
yeah,
the lies.
I'm working this out, girl. Oh, you got another
This
5 years
is
before
fun.
you retire, girl.
Right.
You need to get that money in that pension. You better not.
Hmm.
You don't leave that money on the table. So
Hmm.
they're like you said, it's projecting, but they've masked their trauma in such a way and they're projecting how they've masked their trauma. You know what I'm saying? So you telling
Yes.
them, I need to get out of here. They're thinking about the compensation. You got another 5 years, you got another 8 years so that you can, you're gonna get your thing together so that you could be living good, living comfortable. My thing is 5, 8 years is not promised to me. Five,
It's
8 years is not promised to me. I want liberation. I want to heal. I want to be free now.
exactly, exactly, exactly. And just thinking about if you try to hang in there for another 5 to 8 years, number one, you may not make it because the stress might kill you. The other thing is the stress might wear you down so much that when you get to the 5 or 8 years, you're so broke down physically and or psychologically. What is the quality of your life at that point?
Yeah.
And there's other ways to make money besides that job.
Yes, yes. And I do think that many of us, the Black women, how innovative we are anyway and
Hmm.
resourceful, we do need to start just elevating how we think
Hmm.
because many of us have been, particularly our generation,
Hmm.
you go to school,
Hmm.
you get a PhD or MD or one of the big fat degrees, and then you work for somebody
Uh-huh.
and you're like, okay, and I met someone last night, law school, did all the things. They're like, I'm absolutely hating it. So I will share
Oh.
that information with them about the
Ooh.
summit because
Wow.
many of us have done that. We were told by our parents to do
Hmm.
this. This is the
Hmm.
pathway for us. And many of us are creatives instead. We want to do something that is nurturing, that's going to help to heal our people.
Hmm.
But, we're being pushed in the direction of making money, making a coin. So tell me, for you, now that you've done this, you've kind of stepped
Hmm.
away. Like, what's one of the biggest things that you feel you have done so far on your healing journey? Is there still more work for you on your healing journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I left the toxic job, that's when my healing really started. So before I was just coping. I was trying to cope in the environment and therapy, trying to cope because I was constantly dealing with that toxicity, right? You can't heal if you continue to be beat down, right? So once I left the environment, that's when the healing had started. So that is me coming on YouTube, talking about experiences, having other guests. Because when I talk to other Black women about their experiences, that's helping to heal me too, because I feel like, oh, okay, I had a similar experience and I know that I'm helping to heal other Black women. So that fills me up with joy, right? So when I come on, so that's part of my healing is every Sunday coming on live, talking on my YouTube channel. That's part of my healing journey. Therapy. When I need therapy, I go to therapy. Having a wellness plan around me, which includes I have a garden. So going out in the garden, being with nature, moving my body, right? So going outside, moving my body, I get the natural vitamin D, right? Which is a mood elevator. I have pets. I play with my pets. I have a family. I spend time with my family. So it's multi-layered in terms of I got good friends, right? I
Mm.
connect to other people. And I know that through my healing journey, and I'm healing out loud, right? I heard Glam Mazzini say that,
Oh, I
healing out
love
loud.
that. I'm
You
stealing
are
that. Healing out loud. I love that.
healing out loud, right? So I'm healing out loud in real time for Black women to see what I'm going through. And as I've
Mhm.
been planning with the summit with my co-host, Marissa Price, more memories are coming up about the toxic job. It's kind of like I'm purging it,
Mhm.
right? And it's like I'm trying to get all this toxicity out of my system. So a way for me to get it out of my system is I record YouTube videos and I talk about my experience. And it's another way my healing is to release the shame of what happened to me. Because for a long time I had shame about I can't believe this happened to me, or why this happened to me, or I can't believe I let them talk to me like that, all that kind of stuff. I'm releasing the shame because I didn't do anything wrong,
Right.
right? So I'm getting all of this out, and I want Black women to see me and see what I'm doing to motivate them to also do something similar.
I love it. It's so beautiful. So tell us more about the conference that's coming up, the summit.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
really excited about it, and yeah, just tell the viewers and listeners about the summit and
yeah,
the genesis of it.
yes, yes, yes. So the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, I'm co-hosting that with Marissa Price, who's also a Black woman. She's a social worker. And it was actually her initial idea because as a therapist, I can only work with a certain number of Black women, right? As a coach, I can only work with a certain number of Black women. But I was like, I want to liberate a whole bunch of Black women. How do I how do I share this information about liberation with a whole bunch of Black women? So we decided to do the summit. So this is our first annual summit. It's gonna be another one, and another one every year, right?
Yes.
So for the first summit, we're going to kick it off with Stephanie Perry talking about job detox. Because one of the things that keeps us at a toxic job is our mindset. We can't go the fears about leaving, finances, right? So, how do we detox ourselves from the job? We're also going to talk about burnout. What does that look like? How does that impact us? And all of the speakers for the summit, are all Black women who've left jobs and doing well. Okay. So, talk about burnout. We're also going to talk about mental health, how our mental health is impacted by being in a toxic job, because it definitely is. And then our sleep. How is our sleep impacted? There were so many nights I wake up like, I can't believe I did it, right?
Mm.
About the job. So, what are the sleep skills that we can get to reclaim our sleep? And then we're going to end day one with Alicia Renice, the artist, talking about as Black women, how do we reconnect to our joy, our dreams, all things that
Love
were
that.
robbed from us, right, from a toxic job. So that's day one. Day two starts off with Amory Archer, who's an attorney and HR consultant. She's also known as the anti-HR lady, talking about issues of discrimination and
Yeah.
severance, what
Mm.
to do in that situation. Also talking about how do you actually replace your income. So we're gonna have Libria Jones talking about remote work, how to get remote work, contract work, freelance, right? Then we're
Mm.
gonna have Patrice talking about creating a side hustle A side hustle might give you the income so you can eventually transition out. And then Marissa and I are going to talk about ways to create your own business. And then we're going to end day two with Dr. Roche Brown, who's a financial psychologist. And I'll work with her to get my financial plan together so I could lead. So she's going to be talking about the financial exit plan, how to create that, right? So those are the 2 days.
Nice.
Again, nobody will be seen on camera except for the summit speakers, no names listed for confidentiality. And for those who want that higher tier, like they know they need more prep work, they need more work with creating their financial exit plan. Those who have the highest tier of the ticket, they will come back on Monday for an additional hour with Dr. Roche Brown, the financial psychologist, to really get that financial plan together. So all of that is the summit. And there's even an opportunity for Black women to sponsor other Black women to come to the summit. So in addition to liberating yourself, you can liberate other Black women. Because I'm like, this is a whole liberation movement. It's not just me. It's not just
Yes, true.
we are in this together to liberate ourselves and our other sisters because we are out here being harmed these toxic jobs. So I'm
Mm.
asking Black women, join with me. Where this is a collective goal that we're liberating 500 Black women this year from a toxic job.
And I just want for the record, for us to really define, how do you define a toxic job?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
And
what are the components of a toxic job? Because some people might say, I didn't know toxic job, but then when we actually like really unpack it and deconstruct
uh-huh.
it, we're like, oh, never mind.
Right. So the specifics look different for everybody in terms of their situation, but the telltale sign of a toxic job is that it's harming you physically and or psychologically. You
Mm.
can't lie to yourself, right? So if you're experiencing Sunday scaries, you dread Sundays because you got to go back to the job on Monday, right? If you're dreading waking up because of the job, if you're crying on your way to work, you crying leaving work. Like, so all these different things, those are signs that you are in a toxic job. It's
Yeah,
harming you. It's
yeah.
harming you.
Girl, let me tell you, I live in Atlanta. They know the highway, the traffic, and where I live to Gwinnett County, which is where I would go, hour and a half. Even if my class started like 9 o'clock, I'm leaving at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I'm still scrambling, stress, anxiety. Cause I'm like, I left 2 hours early. What in the world? Two, three accidents. I was like, I do not like being on 285, 85, none of it. I have my little essential oils in the car, trying to calm myself down. It was terrible. It was
Source
terrible.
of the stress is still there. That's why those things are like short-term band-aid approaches.
Yeah.
And when you think about what is the cost of you being at the job, right?
Mm.
So you might think, oh, I need the money, da, 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 I gotta get da, da. But what is the emotional cost to you, the physical cost to you to be in that traffic, be stressed out the whole time? What is the cost? So
Right.
we have to look at the bigger picture. And is there another way for me to make money? And if there is, let's see what that is and let's plan for that.
Yeah, I love that. So we're gonna put the information for this Liberation Summit in the show notes. What do you want the folks who are listening to this podcast to do? What is a
Mhm.
call to action
hmm
right now?
I want you to register for the summit. And I want you, in addition to registering, that you also share this information with at least two other Black women because you have agency. And I want you to know you have agency, but you got to take the next step. So I have all information available for you, but you have to register. So make that step and know when you come to the summit, you are preparing yourself to leave. It's not like you come to the summit, you got to leave the next day. Nobody's putting you on some time thing. This is your own planning to prepare yourself. The timeline is up to you, right? So it's always best to be prepared than just like you're just doing something reactionary. Get ready. Get ready so you can leave on your own terms when you want to leave on your own terms.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, this was beautiful. How can people connect with you, Kimani?
They can connect to me by going to YouTube, so watching my videos on YouTube, Lifting As We Climb Consulting Wellness Services. They can also check out services that I have available, online courses and coaching as well on my YouTube, by my website, liftingasweclimbconsulting.com.
Awesome. All right, we're going to put all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing all that you've shared. We are
Thank
hoping that
you.
you get your 500 mark of liberating 500 women this year.
Absolutely.
I'm there with you, baby. I'm there.
Yes,
And for
yes,
those
yes,
of
yes.
you who are listening, you guys know I'm Chef B. You guys can get our access to services that we have on chefb.com. That's Be Empowered, Energized, and Engaged, chefb.com. We offer essential meals to go, plant-based meal prep for folks who are busy, the professional woman who's busy, entrepreneurs who are busy, but they need healthy meals. And then we're just starting up our Meal Prep Sundays cooking classes. Those are live cooking classes that you can come and experience where you get really structured, all the things that you need for the work week among all of our other services. So you can check us out on chefb.com, and you guys can also go to YouTube for my videos. All right. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful conversation. I'm sure you'll be back at some point to let us know how everything went.
Yes,
Yes. So take care. Super excited about this movement that I'm a part of as
yes,
well.
you are. Yes, you are.
Yes. So let's keep it going.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely.
Kisses and hugs.